In this episode of Serious About Tech, we will talk about the new Google devices that they announced this month, also about the crack attack on Wi-Fi. Is it as bad as it seems? That's all next in this episode of Serious About Tech. Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Serious About Tech. I am your host, Zachary Webb. Find all my work at seriousobouttech.com/Zachary. Today, I would like to, before we get into the content, I would like to tell you about the air quote sponsor that is myself. I will design a website for you for 10% off. Go to seriousobouttech.com/WWS. Now moving on to the content, we'll get right into the news from Google. They had a big event on October 4th where they announced several new devices. They announced the Pixel 2 phones, Pixelbook, the Google Home Mini, and the Google Home Max, and the Google Clips camera. But I'm going to start off with the Google Pixel phones, as those were one of the main products at that event. So Google released a Pixel 2 and a Pixel 2 XL smartphones that run Android 8.0 Oreo, and they're very nice hardware. The bigger one being made by LG, and the smaller one, the bigger one has a 6-inch display, the smaller one has a 5-inch display. The smaller one with a 5-inch display is made by HTC. So Google partnered with these two different companies to make their phones. These phones have OLED screens, which means their color is nice, and their blacks are more black than other screens. But one thing that I just heard about recently, just yesterday, was that the Pixel 2 XL smartphones, the Pixel 2 XL, its OLED display has some burn-in problems. So that's, I guess, one of the one of the things that happens when you don't report about something till it comes out, is that you can find out all of the problems. So with that burn-in, what it basically is, it's a problem with the phone with its screen, that basically their screen is not how it should have been. There's some small problems with the Google devices. There are some small problems with the Google Pixels, but overall they are good devices. So burn-in is where you have like ghosted logos, icons, other images different than a different screen you're on. So it's not terrible, but basically the image doesn't have the right colors. So it's a problem because of the LG OLED screen that they had in there. That's the problem. So just keep that in mind. The Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL have this feature called Active Edge, where you gently squeeze the device to activate Google Assistant, which is kind of neat because Google really wants Google Assistant to be a very big part of their phones and all Android phones, because they really want people to start using it more than like Samsung's Bixby or other things like Siri on the Apple side. The Pixel 2 starts at $649, and the Pixel 2 XL at $849, going up from there depending on how much more storage you want. Google did remove the headphone jack out of these phones, like Apple did with their most recent iPhones from the 7 on, I think. But I guess you just have to live with it. You just have to get an adapter to use normal headphones, or just buy Bluetooth earbuds like Google's Pixel Buds that they just released. They're Bluetooth earbuds that will cost $159. So Google puts out its own premium earbuds, just kind of like how Apple has their Apple AirPods. So they brought out these new Bluetooth earbuds to go along with it. Something else Google announced is the Google Pixelbook, which is their premium notebook running Chrome OS. So if you like Chrome OS, you might like the Google Pixelbook. The Google Pixelbook comes with a special stylus that can be used to draw or tap on the screen. You can also summon Google Assistant on that too. The Pixelbook has a 12.3-inch touchscreen, and it can be folded to use as a tablet. You can get it with 7th generation Intel Core i5 or i7 processors, of course, and get 8 or 16 gigabytes of RAM. You also you have choices of storage if you want 128 gigabyte, 256 gigabyte, or 512 gigabyte SSDs. This premium laptop from Google will start at $999, going up from your storage and RAM and all those choices. So people who have a Microsoft Surface and they like Google's products better, that would be a good choice for them if they like Chrome OS and just how secure and stuff it is. Google also brought out their Home Mini, the Google Home Mini, and the Google Home Max. The Google Home Mini is but both of these are their new smart speakers, like competitors to the Amazon Echo devices that you can get. But the Mini is a competitor of the Echo Dot, and the Max a competitor it's somewhat of a competitor to the regular Amazon Echo, but more to Apple's HomePod. Because Apple's HomePod, which I talked about in episode 3, it is Apple's premium smart speaker that uses Siri and is built for streaming music with Apple Music. But Google's $399 Home Max it's similar to the HomePod, but it's got better sound than the first Google Home. It has better sound than that and is built more for the streaming music, which is what a lot of people use these devices for. The Google Home Mini is $49. One thing that was really different at this Google event, one thing that they brought out that was kind of different, is the Google Clips camera. It's a camera that uses AI, artificial intelligence, to capture photos of your kids or pets. So it's a $249 camera. It's aimed at parents who want to capture the perfect picture of their child or pet. So you just set it down somewhere. Like, you can just set it down on your table while your kids are doing something. You just set it somewhere, and it knows by its algorithm when to take pictures. So then it will take the pictures, and it can also do like bursts where it takes several pictures. There is no audio with that, but it's just like 2 or 3 seconds of that if you want that also. And it just stores them on the onboard storage, and then you go on your phone, you connect to it, and you select which things you want to put on your phone, or delete them off there, or share them out, just whatever you want to do with them. That camera is $249. And again, I want to remind you of our sponsor, webco.us. If you want a website custom designed for you, you want a website from me, just go to seriousobouttech.com/WWS, seriousobouttech.com/WWS, and get 10% off. Then I'm going to move on to the crack attack against Wi-Fi. So this is a big attack that a lot of people have been talking about. People think it's so awful that they have to do something about it. Okay, so crack, KRACK, stands for Key Reinstallation Attacks. This is a security vulnerability that affects Wi-Fi clients. So it's a vulnerability in the Wi-Fi protocol, like how Wi-Fi devices talk to each other and to your router or whatever your access point is. So the clients are like your laptops, your phones, your IoT devices, just anything that connects to your network through Wi-Fi. So with this crack attack, basically with crack attack, someone has a program on their computer or whatever they're going to use. They connect. They basically spoof your network. They get your client to send the key, that authenticates you to the router. Basically make the client send that twice. So it has the same one over again, and that's not good, because then they can use that to break the encryption and be a man in the middle, which means they can see all the communications you are doing. And then if they could get into the TCP, which TCP and IP are the main things on which the internet is built. So those would be the main things on how it's built. And if they could get into that, then they could also maybe break into your HTTPS content that you are viewing online and be able to even see that. But a VPN, or a virtual private network, will protect you against this attack, and it's been updated in all of Microsoft Windows that are supported, and also Apple's operating systems, which Apple's operating systems were not even vulnerable, and neither were Microsoft's, because of the way they implemented the Wi-Fi client. They didn't do it the proper way, and it kept them from being vulnerable. And then other operating systems and wireless clients have fixed the problem, such as Ubuntu, OpenBSD, OpenWRT, the Amazon Echo, and much more companies that you can find. I have a link to a list of them that has a whole big list of lots of companies that have fixed this. You can find the link to that in the show notes for this episode at seriousobouttech.com/5. Just the number 5. So seriousobouttech.com/5. That's where you can get the show notes and get the link to that big long list to see if you are affected by this. But Android is very vulnerable to this, especially from 6.0 of their operating system on. So Google is testing updates that would fix it. So that's what they're going to do that. So everyone should be updated. And don't panic. You don't need to update your firmware in your router or your access point, because the vulnerability is exploited in the client. So it's in the devices that connect to the network, not your main router. But if you have a mesh network or a network repeater, those do need to be updated, because they connect as a client back to your main base station. So those should be updated. So just make sure to check your manufacturer's firmware websites for updates to that. Okay, I think that's about wraps it up. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to see more content from me, then please head over to seriousobouttech.com/support. And if you go there, you can support me by donating there. It's a Patreon page. You can donate to me $1 a month, $3 a month, $5 a month, $10 a month, or $20 a month, depending on how much you like this show. And with enough money in there, I'll just head on over there myself real quick and tell you some of the rewards that you will get. If you pay $1 a month, you will get my eternal thanks. If you do 5, let's see, you can do 3, and then you get access to our chat, our special chat server. And you also get bloopers. So all my bloopers I make, which I do a lot. Then if you do $10 a month, you can get mentioned in this show. If you do $10 a month, you get everything else I provide in the lower rewards that are under $10, and you get your name mentioned in the podcast every month. So you will get your name mentioned. If you do $25 or more per podcast episode, you get everything and a Serious About Tech t-shirt sent directly to your front door. So I'd like you to check that out at seriousobouttech.com/support. Once I reach $15 per podcast episode, I will improve the website and the podcast media downloads by getting new hosting for those. And all my patrons will also get a special shout out on the podcast. All my patrons. That means you will get a special shout out every month, even if you don't pay the $10 or whatever. Because once I get up there, you'll just all get it, and then I will give new rewards for those who actually pay $10 a month. You will get more rewards because I have more rewards coming. Once I reach $30 per episode, I'll put out an episode weekly or bi-weekly and do more on the blog. You can find the blog at seriousabouttech.com, and there I post about all kinds of different stuff, like reviews on products, and if I do any interviews that I don't record or anything like that, they will be there. Once I get to $60 per episode, which I know the audience can do, if you want to support me, remember, seriousobouttech.com/support. And when I get to $60 per episode, I will buy more tech products, do more reviews. So you will find more reviews on the podcast, short reviews on the podcast, and then also have longer versions on the website at seriousobouttech.com. So if you'd like to become a patron on Patreon, go to seriousobouttech.com/support. And subscribe to this show. You can do that in iTunes. You can do it on Android at seriousobouttech.com/Android. And to subscribe on Apple Podcast or iTunes, just go to seriousobouttech.com/Apple Podcasts or /iTunes. You can subscribe with Google Play at seriousobouttech.com/Google Play, I believe. And there's also links on the website. And then you can also do it on Stitcher. That's seriousobouttech.com/Stitcher. And on TuneIn, seriousobouttech.com/TuneIn. You can also subscribe to the raw RSS feed. If you want to do that, just go to the website. We have an option for that. Be sure to share the episode if you really enjoyed it and you think your friends would like to listen to a tech podcast like this one. Then just go on over, and there's convenient share buttons on the page with the article. And then you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/TheZacharyWebb, TheZacharyWebb, and follow the show. You should do that to know when we're doing live, when we're going to put out a new episode, and to get all the articles we put out. That's twitter.com/SeriousTechShow. That's at Serious Tech Show on Twitter. And until next time, this is your host, Zachary Webb. Hope you have a great week and use the technology you have around you. And we will see you again next time.